Hello folks and welcome to the first edition of Wand School. I'm going to help you along the way with your spell crafting and wand crafting in this fantastic game called Noita. Now I have obtained perhaps the best wand, or one of the best wands in the first level, or what I call Biome 1, the caves. And the reason this is the best wand because, most importantly, it's a non-shuffle wand. Now, if you're new to the game, you'll be seeing this a lot. Shuffle yes, shuffle no. What is this stuff? Well, a non-shuffle wand is the order of your spells. All of these little cards in Noita are your spells. We can drag them out and drop them in, and they're all going to do different stuff. And non-shuffle is important because it will cast from left to right. Now I've grabbed us some basic spells, ones that you will find in Biome 1, just to have a little play. I call this the Fish Wand. And it's pretty much the best non-shuffle wand that you will find. It's the most reliable. So let's have a little look at what we've got here. My favourite find of the fish wand, all of the spells are random, all of the wands are random in Noita when you play, but if you find Energy Sphere on a fish wand, it's a very reliable spell. More often than not, I use that exact spell up until level 4. It's very, very good. So let's have a look at this, and for those interested, we are using Cheat GUI today and Goki's things, two mods. Cheat GUI is a very respectable panel that will let you spawn in perks, spells, flasks. You can see down here we can build wands. Very useful. I'll explain in the description how you can get that started. And today we're using Goki's things as well to give us this training dummy, another fantastic mod made by Goki. It really helps you learn the game, and yes, so thank you to those mod creators for helping us out today. And the best thing about Goki's things is that it adds this test dummy, which I really, really hope is a thing in vanilla somewhere down the line, because if we shoot the little fella, he tells us our damage values, which is incredibly useful to learning how this game works and the damage we're doing. It shows us the damage, which you'll see the red number there, but also it'll give you an average DPS, which is the orange number on top. So shall we get into some basic wand crafting here, folks? So as you can see here, just two energy spheres, sorry, they are cycling each time. So if you pay attention to the top right, click, then we'll see that orange bar top up. That is the recharge time. So let's look at the stats. So that's got a 0.38 second recharge time. So that orange bar is your recharge time. So if you have a wand with low recharge or no recharge, they can be found, you're going to be having a constantly cycling left to right wand. Depending on how manner effective your spells are, you can have a constantly firing wand. It's really exciting when you find those ones. So I'm going to go through these basic spells. Energy Sphere is very good because it does 10 damage. So that's a very respectable amount. Like I said, it can take you up to the Hisi base, which is level 4. But more often than not, the basic blue one that you start with, not the fish wand, it will just give us 2 sparks, which is really quite low. It's not really useful and it's not really sustainable without, enhancing that with other spells. So other spells just say, well, okay, well, let's say we find this thing. This is a doubler, which will mean, and remember, this is a non-shuffle wand. You want to put these, what I'm going to call modifiers, adjusters, whatever you want to call them. You want to put those first because it's going to be casting those modifiers first. There is a lot of them in the game and we will get into them in future videos. But for now, we're going to take the basic spark and we're going to put this double spell at the front. Okay, well, what does that do? Ah, I see. So it's doing both at the same time. But you must be aware, the spells you use with that, you can't just chuck on the cool stuff and expect for your mana to sustain itself. But thankfully the mana drain of the sparks are very basic. If you pay attention to the top right, our blue bar, the mana, pretty sustainable, pretty cool. Alright, well, how about this then? Let's chuck those really cool energy spheres on. So we're going to be doing 2 of those. Alright then, that's pretty cool. So that's 20 damage out the gate here. And a little side bit of knowledge for you folks. Use the environment, because blood, let's douse ourselves up with a bit of blood that I've prepped here. Here's one I made earlier. That gives us extra crit chance, so douse yourself in the blood of your enemies, folks, and you'll get an occasional extra crit pop up. See, 50 there, just for the sake because we're covered in blood. Now I'm just going to put those sparks back on, because also using your environment or the flasks you find around the world, if you find berserkium, that's going to double your damage. So the standard damage for sparks is 3, but now, because we are berserk, we're very cross, we're now doing double damage. See, the number 6 is popping up there. Pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool. So always use your environment. There are many things in the world. I shan't go into them just yet, because we're sticking with basic wand crafting at the minute. So yeah, here's some other example spells that you'll find on Biome 2. Bubbles are very good. I would use them on the gold wand, which we don't have at the minute. We're just using the fish wand today. Let me just coat myself in water to get rid of berserk. These are very spready. If we look at them, they do add spread, but these can be used to great effectiveness, but they're okay. You need a really fast cycling wand, which is your cast delay. Cast delay is normally under a second. That is the delay, how quick the spell will go. So if this was 0 cast delay and 0 recharge time, we would have like a fast firing bubble laser gun, but we don't have that. This fish one can be found in Biome 1. I didn't want to have a cheaty one to show you today. So okay, we understand what doubling is. I do have a shotgun spell here, one of my favourites, the triplicate bolt. I call it the shotgun. And again, we've got 2 of those. Pretty cool. It's quite heavy on the mana though, the triplicate bolt, so just be aware of your mana drain. You need to factor in all of this stuff. Recharge time, which is reload time. Cast delay, which is how quickly it's going to get that spell out. Be aware that some spells do add cast delay. Some spells reduce cast delay. Some spells reduce recharge time, like the chainsaw. It's going to be a little bit overwhelming, but just pay attention and soak up what the game is telling you and try and understand. But most importantly, you kind of want to be building your runs around a non-shuffle wand. The games are in Jesus Town. You're going to have random wands, you're going to have this and that. So just, if you get lucky with low recharge time, non-shuffle ones, you're going to be getting those god wands and god runs forming. But also I have for you today, folks, we're going to be making a very basic injector wand. That's going to be using a trigger, folks. So what a trigger spell is, you'll see this little yellow, little sunshine, whatever. What this is going to do, again, ideally used on a non-shuffle wand, folks. Let us have a look. So, okay, a spark bolt trigger. Interesting. So what this is going to do, once it hits an enemy, hit with the spark, it's going to then trigger in that chain the next spell. So let's have a look at the test dummy here. Listen. So once it's hitting the enemy with the spark bolt, it's then triggering the energy sphere. This is the foundation of god wanding, folks. Injector wands can be incredibly powerful. So, what does that look like? With a trigger into a doubler into 2 shotguns. So you can see the wheels turning. Some very basic wand crafting here, folks. Okay, well, bear that in mind. If you're lucky, the Death Cross is what I would call like a claymore or like a landmine that spawns. What does that look like on a triggered doubling wand? Let's have a look. See how much damage that's doing? And this is just a very basic example of what you can craft with Noita. Okay then. Now bear in mind your mana sustainability there. If we was under fire in a level and there's loads of enemies coming, we're panic firing, we don't know what's going on, oh dear, look at our mana, we're trying to wonder why this Death Cross isn't working. Well, it's not triggering because the maximum mana of this one is 250. If we look at all of the spells here, we've got mana drain 10, multicast don't cost mana, but the mana drain of these Death Crosses is 80, so really, we have to fire this really slowly. But if you can get these to trigger, I don't want to go into what perks do. For example, with the Death Cross, because this is getting a bit complex, but I'll tell you, if you had the homing perk, which will basically magnetize Death Crosses to your enemy, this wand in of itself is very powerful, so you're in for a good time if you can trigger this stuff. If we just take this off real quick, I will show you a couple of other good spells. The bubble bouncing burst, I call them bubbles, I get them confused with the blue bubbles, but these are very good. They're very low mana cost, they do bounce around, so they will tag your enemies, but yeah, pretty good if you can get that on the gold wand, which is a gold coloured wand on Biome 1. That has a very low cast delay and a low recharge time, and if you chuck those bubbles on, it will look like what I call like an MG42 with the green traces. Very fast firing, but the damage does fall off throughout the levels as you go deeper down into Noita. So that's doing 3 damage. It's respectable. It's the same as the basic spark. What about Berserkium? So that's giving us a little bit of a boost. Okay, what does that look like with 2 doubles on? So, you know, with Berserkium and a doubler, we're up in that average damage there, you can see on the test dummy. But yeah, that is just a very basic intro into what wands mean. Try and get your non-shuffle wands, folks, because they're incredibly important. What do they do again? It goes from left to right. The difference in that is, if it was a shuffle wand, it pulls the spells randomly, so we wouldn't always get that doubling effect. A non-shuffle always goes from left to right, so your shuffle wands will be random. They'll feel very unreliable, and you'll be like, what's going on with this wand? I don't understand it. Always look out for your non-shuffles, folks, because it's incredibly important. But yeah, that is the basics of the fish wand here. Let's have a look at the stats. They're very good. The fish wand is very common. And yes, folks, that is episode 1 of Wand School. Just some very basic tips on understanding what this marvellous game is trying to communicate to us with all of these spells, non-shuffle wands, shuffle wands. It can be a little bit confusing, but I would recommend you to just keep experimenting, play with doublers. We're going to get into it with Wand School. We're going to really double down and understand and explain how to get these good old god ones that you can find on my channel. I've done a lot of long plays of Noita. I think I'm about 350 plus hours. So even me, I'm trying to understand this game still. There are many ones that even I haven't experimented with. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Wand School. We will get more complex and we will get more nitty-gritty with this, but I thank you for watching, and it kills me to say it, folks, because this is the YouTube style now. We're making more YouTube proper videos. Hit my bell, please. It kills me to say this, but if you enjoy this, hit the subscribe button. Press my bell, because there's going to be more of this. You can see the life coming out of me, folks, but this is the YouTube game. But anyway, folks, thank you for sticking around. Look out for more episodes of Wand School. Catch you later, yeah?